Over the last few weeks, I've been warning you about the Australian crypto laws coming in place and the real intention behind what the government and the ATO are actually building, the surveillance funnel, a system designed to push every crypto investor towards fewer and fewer regulated government-connected platforms so they can track you, tax you, and monitor every single move you make. Well, today I want to take it one step further because I want to show you exactly how deep that surveillance funnel goes and make you aware that crypto privacy in Australia is coming to an end, unless you know what you're doing. But first, I need to address the elephant in the room. Every time I post about crypto privacy, I get the same comment. People who want privacy are just trying to avoid tax. Let me be direct before we go any further. I pay my taxes. I encourage every single one of my clients to pay their taxes, and everything in this video is completely within Australian law. Privacy in crypto has nothing to do with dodging the ATO. It has everything to do with not painting a $1 million target on your back. I'm also going to address something thousands of you have been asking me since these videos started blowing up. How do you break the surveillance chain? I'm going to be completely honest with you about the methods floating around online right now. The privacy coins, the chain hopping techniques, you need to be very careful. Because if you're not careful, you might put a bigger target on your back going down this path. But I'm also going to share with you something far more powerful, a completely legal, fully private, non-KYC way to acquire sovereign Bitcoin, where the surveillance trail simply never exists in the first place. No exchange, no identity verification, no acquisition record, no regulated platform, no surveillance chain to manage because the chain never started. So stick around because that reveal is coming up. And it might be the most important thing that I've shared in this entire video series. So let me show you exactly what I mean. First, let's unpack the architecture behind the full surveillance funnel that the government is building with these new laws, because when you see all of it together, it is genuinely alarming. Layer 1, the AFSL licensing choke point. Every crypto exchange in Australia now needs an Australian financial service license, the same license that your bank holds. Of roughly 400 platforms operating in the Australian ecosystem, only 10% are already registered with ASIC. The other 90% completely are going to disappear if they don't get that AFSL licensing. The number of places you can legally buy crypto in Australia is shrinking very fast, and every surviving platform is directly wired to ASIC through AUSTRAC and the ATO. Layer 2, the real-time ATO surveillance. The ATO has connected directly to license exchanges through real-time APIs. Every trade, every purchase, every staking reward tracked and matched against your tax file number as it happens. Not at the end of the financial year, in real time as you click buy. Now, layer 3, the travel rule, and here's what most people don't know. I'm going to stop here for a second because this is one that consistently surprises people. Most Australians think that the travel rule kicks in only on $1,000 transactions and above. That number gets repeated everywhere. It's wrong. Australia's travel rule has no minimum threshold. Every single transfer between regulated platforms requires verified sender and receiver information. Every transfer, no flaw whatsoever. And when you withdraw to a self-hosted custody wallet, your exchange must collect your full name, verify you control that address, and keep permanent record linking your identity to that wallet. Your cold wallet address is now attached to your name permanently. Now, I'll come back to exactly what that means in practice because most people don't understand the full implications of that. Stay with me. Layer 4, the CARF, C-A-R-F, the global surveillance net most Australians don't know exists. And now it's even bigger. Australia has committed to the OECD's Crypto Asset Reporting Framework, known as CARF. A global data sharing agreement with over 60 countries now committed, the UK, the EU, Singapore, Canada, Japan, all automatically sharing crypto transaction data with each other and their tax authorities. Think about what that means for anyone planning to use an offshore exchange to escape the Australian funnel. Australian exchanges begin collecting CARF data from 2027, and from 2028, the ATO will automatically be receiving your transaction data from foreign exchanges in dozens of countries around the world. You're not escaping the surveillance funnel by going offshore. You're walking into the same net, just from a different door. And the US, the home of Coinbase, Kraken, and most of the world's largest exchanges, has committed to joining CARF in 2029. The net is going to be global and it's closing fast. So drop a comment. If you knew about the CARF before watching this video, I'm genuinely curious how many of you have heard of this and how many of you understand the full implications. So here's what the surveillance funnel actually looks like end to end. Your fiat arrives in your bank, and because of KYC, it is known to be yours. You send your fiat to a licensed crypto exchange, and the ATO records the transaction in real time. You go and buy Bitcoin, that's matched to your tax file number instantly. You withdraw to a cold storage wallet. The travel rule will link your name to your wallet address permanently, and that wallet address now sits on the public blockchain. Now, even through the CARF, foreign exchange data flows back to Canberra automatically from 2028. This is the architecture being built today, and every single Australian crypto investor is going to succumb to it. And the question I want you to sit with, because it's not the one most people are asking, it's not, will the ATO come after me? The question is, who else has access to this data? And can you trust these institutions to keep it safe? Let's move on to part 2, why privacy and security is the real issue, not taxation. Let me show you the track record of the centralized institutions now holding your identity linked to your wallet address. In Q1 2024 alone, Australia's data breach rate surged to 388% from the prior quarter, with 1.8 million accounts being compromised, ranking Australia the 15th most breached nation globally. Let me give you the big ones. Optus, 9.8 million Australians had their personal data stolen. Nearly 40% of the entire population's names, date of birth, home addresses, passport numbers, driver's license, gone, published online. Medibank Private, 9.7 million customers' records were stolen. Health claims, stolen, released on the dark web. Latitude Financial, 14 million individuals recorded and exposed. Driver's license, passport numbers, financial records. Australia's own government cybersecurity report recorded over 84,000 cybercrimes in the last financial year, one every 6 minutes. Now, these were not small operations with inadequate budgets. These were major corporations and the government-connected institutions with dedicated security teams. They got hacked anyway. So when a regulated exchange is now legally required to link your name and your identity documents and your Bitcoin wallet address all together, that information lives inside the system with this exact track record. Now, here's the direct physical security risk that most people in the conversation are completely ignoring. This is called a wrench attack. Hackers identify high-value crypto holders through data leaks. They cross-reference wallet addresses with real-world identities. They find where you live and they show up at your door. This is happening globally. It's increasing every single year, and the profile most at risk is exactly the profile of my audience. High-income professionals holding meaningful amounts of Bitcoin in self-custody. And then there's an emerging longer-term concern every serious holder needs to be at least aware of. With AI and computing power getting stronger than ever, you cannot have privacy and security as a second priority. If you are taking on sovereign holdings, you are taking on 100% responsibility to keep your coins safe. So do not slip on privacy. That's your biggest threat to the most dangerous people out there. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking right now, you've heard about the solutions, the privacy coins, the chain hopping, the techniques people are sharing online to break that trail. Well, coming up, I'm going to tell you exactly what those techniques involve, where the gray lines are as well. This is part 4, privacy obfuscation, the gray line, the risk, and the honest truth. This is the section no other Australian channel is doing honestly. After my last 3 videos, I got flooded with messages from people sharing the solution that they'd found online. The technique doing the rounds goes something like this. Withdraw from your KYC exchange to a self-custody wallet, swap into a privacy coin on a decentralized exchange, move that new wallet swap back to Bitcoin or Ethereum and send to cold storage and the chain's broken. I want to be completely honest with you because almost nobody in the Australian crypto space is willing to say what I'm about to say plainly. I completely understand the appeal. The intention behind it is obvious. You're protecting your wallet address from systems that have proven they've been breached before. It's completely legitimate. I get it. But here is what you need to understand before you go and do anything along that path. Austrac publishes typology reports. These describe the specific patterns they look for when investigating financial crime, money laundering, terrorism, financial and tax evasion. The pattern I just described, KYC exchange, privacy coin conversion, new wallet setup, swap back, cold storage, is explicitly listed in those typologies as a layering pattern. Layering is the second stage of money laundering. It's how criminals deliberately obscure the origin of funds by moving them through multiple steps. Now, your funds are clean. Your intention is protecting your privacy for legitimate security reasons. I believe you, but under the Australian AML and CTF law, your intent does not attach to your transaction graph. The blockchain cannot read your mind. It only knows what it sees. And what happened looks identical to money laundering. So drop a comment below. Did you know that privacy coin transactions are listed in Austrac's money laundering typologies? This genuinely surprised most people in my community. Here's the asymmetry I want you to genuinely think about. Will privacy obfuscation cut the surveillance trail? Yes, to a degree. The on-chain link becomes harder to follow. But what it doesn't cut and what it can't cut is the record that you bought the crypto in the first place. The exchanges, they still have that. The ATO still has it. The CARF will share that. That record does not disappear. So what you've actually done is taken full risk of Austrac's investigation. Expensive, invasive, potentially years for your life, to obscure a trail from acquisition that is already permanent record anyway. And if your intentions are 100% clean and you go down this path, which I believe they are for most people watching this, then if you are ever investigated, the burden of proving that falls on you. Not on Austrac to prove you did something wrong, it's on you to prove that you didn't. That means meticulously detailed records of every single step, every single swap, every wallet address, every date and AUD value, every tax implication at every stage. If you cannot produce those records, the investigation goes very badly for you and your intentions. So be honest, have you ever used privacy coins on chain, hopping around? I'm not here to judge. I'm trying to understand how Australians are going about things and if they understand the potential legal exposure. All right, so now coming up, the completely legal alternative. No grey lines, no Austrac flags, no records to keep because there's no trail to explain. This is genuinely exciting, and I think a lot of you are going to want to make a move on this, so stay with me. Part 5, what actually works, legitimate privacy hygiene. Just quickly before I get into it, if everything that I'm talking about today has you thinking on how to run a proper structured sovereign crypto portfolio, then I run a free live webinar every second Thursday. You can register for that webinar with the link below. But let's get straight into the big reveal. The only legal non-KYC way left to acquire Bitcoin. What if every Bitcoin you acquired never touched an exchange, never went through KYC, never had your name attached to it at the point of acquisition, never triggered the travel rule, never showed up in ATO real life API report? What if the coin simply appeared directly in your cold storage wallet as a payment for you provided by the Bitcoin network itself? That's what we call Bitcoin mining. And I've actually been doing it for over 10 years now. Bitcoin mining is the process of using computing hardware to validate transactions on the Bitcoin network. And in return, the network pays you freshly minted Bitcoin. Those coins are mined directly to your wallet address you specify. There's no exchange involved. There's no KYC process. There's no travel rule because there's no transfer between the regulated platforms. The coins are created and delivered directly to your wallet from the Bitcoin protocol itself. Now, the ATO has clearly published guidance on the tax treatment of mined Bitcoin. It's completely legal. It's not a gray area. It's not a workaround. It's fundamentally a different way of acquiring Bitcoin, one that sits completely outside the surveillance funnel by design. And I'm not just talking about this in theory. Through Mining Store, which I founded over a decade ago, we host $100 million worth of Bitcoin miners for our clients across Australia. I've personally helped thousands of Australians start acquiring Bitcoin through mining. And right now, given everything that's happening with Australia's regulatory framework, I believe this is the single most important conversation in the Australian crypto space. So drop a comment. Have you ever thought about Bitcoin mining as a privacy way to sovereignly build your wealth portfolio in Bitcoin? I want to know how many of you are landing this as new information, because think about what this means in the context of everything we've covered today. The surveillance funnel, you never entered it. The travel rule doesn't apply. The KYC link between your identity and your wallet, never created. The CARF global reporting framework, nothing to report at the point of acquisition. The coins are sovereign from the moment that they existed. Now, I know some of you are thinking about the tax treatment. What about the electricity costs? What about the hardware? Is it actually profitable for everyday Australians in 2026? All of that in detail is coming in my next episode. And I promise you, it's going to change how a lot of you are thinking about this. In the next episode, I'm going to take you through everything in detail, how Bitcoin mining actually works, what the realistic numbers look like for Australians right now, the difference between home mining and hosted mining, why I've been doing this personally for over a decade, and the reasons beyond privacy that make mining one of the most compelling Bitcoin accumulation strategies available to Australians right now. But I need you to understand something important. July 1st is weeks away. The surveillance funnel tightens significantly on that date. The window to position yourself before the wall completely closes is coming in weeks, not months. So subscribe now, turn the bell notification on, because that video is coming very soon, and it may be the most practical, useful thing I've published this entire year. Now, if this video changed the way that you're thinking about privacy, security, and sovereignty in crypto, do me a favor and share it with one of the Australians that you know who is still leaving their Bitcoin on exchange. They need to hear this. Also, as a reminder, the link in the description is available for you to register for my live webinar, which I host every second Thursday at 5 p.m. And I talk Australians through my blueprint strategy to building wealth in crypto. I'm Will Wright, Crypto Coach Will. Subscribe, hit the bell button. Next episode's on Bitcoin mining, the only completely legal way and non-KYC way left to acquire Bitcoin in Australia. I'll see you there.